and counseling teacher, but overall, there is a system in schools, and we are promoting menstrual hygiene in school because statistics show that 3 in 4 girls miss school during their menstruation. And as I said, Sustainable Development Goal number 3 aims at improving the quality of education. So having a girl miss school for 5 days is really a drawback. And this not only leads to them dropping out of school, but also getting pregnant. And once they get pregnant, they have obstetric complications, pregnancy-related complications because they are young. So because the government and globally we want to address and reduce teenage pregnancy, school dropouts due to lack of information around menstrual hygiene, these are the interventions in school. Then the other thing around menstrual hygiene management is management of menstrual pain. We are aware that some will present with severe pain, while others will present with mild pain. So because of that, we need to intervene. People need to take painkillers and also use the traditional way of reducing pain due to having periods, such as using the hot water bottle, adopting a position of comfort, and also taking regular baths to promote, blood flowing well. That helps to relieve pain. Then also we need to continue to support the girls, the adolescent girls, through information, through just being available to discuss issues around menstruation. Then the other one, which we are even doing right now, is dispelling the myths and misconception around menstruation. When we do this, we are comprehensively managing menstruation, which helps to promote not only the dignity around it, but also girls staying in school, women really going for work, and are happy and comfortable in their skin, because menstruation is a normal fact of life. And we say a menstruating woman is a healthy woman. So the key is to just remember is that globally we are focusing on making menstruation a normal fact of life, and commitments are there. Through Sustainable Development Goal number 3, 4, 5, and 6, we are addressing menstruation. Then also at continental level, efforts to address menstruation are there. We have the Menstrual Hygiene Management Toolkit by WHO and UN, which are the tools that are guiding and informing our programs around menstruation. At regional level, the Southern region, we have the SADC hygiene strategy that has a pillar around menstruation, ensuring that we have infrastructure, we have buildings, we have toilets, we have washrooms that help girls stay in school and women also be comfortable at their place of work. So we are still advocating. The strategy ends in 2025. Then at national level here in Zambia, we have policies, we've got national guidelines and standards, and also we have campaigns around hygiene. One of them is the Kutuba campaign, but also across Africa, where WaterAid is working, we have the hygiene behavior change campaigns. They are just different. I think I had, that was Ghana. I thought it was Nigeria. In Nigeria, there is a clean house campaign, but in other areas where WaterAid is working, there are hygiene behavior change campaigns going on, even the nearby country, Malawi. Then at community level, we have structures that are key and play a very vital role around menstruation. In the community, we have the church, we have traditional leaders, we have the public places, we have media. All these are key in making menstruation a normal fact of life, because by talking about what products are being sold, by breaking the barriers and the taboos and offering safe spaces for girls and women to talk about menstruation as well as boys, these structures will help promote menstruation and make every girl and women comfortable. Thereby, this contributes to promoting good mental health, because studies have shown that when girls attend their first period, they often get to be worried, sad, embarrassed, based on the feedback that the community gives them. That is why the community is key in addressing and making menstruation a normal fact of life. Then at family level, we have the parents, the guardians, we have the brothers, the uncles, and every support person that needs to really understand what women and girls go out, women and girls face, so that at the end of the day, we make menstruation a normal fact of life, but also ensure that a girl in this household has got menstrual products so that they don't go out there looking for money in wrong ways. And the family is the smallest unit that makes up a community, but then also it's the first place where our lessons are taught. They say charity begins at home. So if the parents really are involved, we find that there is more support and more understanding around menstruation. Then at personal level, it is key to be knowledgeable about the practices around menstruation and also how your body responds to menstruation. You need to know the menstrual cycle. The menstrual cycle is cardinal in addressing everything that comes around menstruation, such as menstrual accidents, where you start bleeding when it was not your day. You need to know if anger, anxiety, or stress hinders you from having periods. You need to know what makes periods painful and less painful. So having enough information at personal level is very, very important. Then also knowing when your period starts, it's very key, not only for your own planning, but also for health. Every woman of childbearing age or a girl who goes to the health facility, they ask what we call the last normal monthly period. That is important to make a diagnosis to see what might be wrong with you. So it's very, very important that every girl knows their periods, knows how heavy their flow is, so that they plan on what materials they need to use. Otherwise, this was the presentation that I prepared for the team. And if there are any questions, the moderator will refer them back to me. Otherwise, I am thankful for this opportunity to speak on this webinar and to contribute in making menstruation a normal fact of life. Thank you so much. Over to you.
Thank you so much, Patricia. I mean, SDG 3, 4, 5, and 6, education, health, equality, water, they're all pertaining to menstruation. I really got something from what you were giving us, like some of the things we suffer because of the lack of knowledge of menstruation on how to handle it properly. We will have dropout from school, which will lead to teenage pregnancy, and then child marriage, and then poverty. Poverty becomes a factor now because of that. And then we have menstruating woman is a healthy woman. I like that one. That one I think is a quote that I will be posting on my social handle. It's really important that people know that a menstruating woman is indeed a healthy woman. I mean, everyone was born because a woman menstruated once and then she decided not to. And like you said, everyone here, it is indeed important that we have families and safe spaces for these discussions. For me, how did I even get about my own menstruation? Was my sister, my cousin actually was the one that even showed me how to use pads. I don't know for you how you actually got to learn about it, but my mom and my dad never told me anything about it, and it's taboo in my house till this day. At this century, yes, we don't discuss it there. So I don't know how you are going about it, how you're learning everything that you're learning about menstruation. But I guess this webinar is really, really important that we have it because it's coming to help us give us more. The myths we have not gone into yet. We've just learned from how to manage it. And yeah, now we are having poems. I told you we will not only be having talk. A poem from Salma is coming to put us in the mood. I mean, and Salma is actually experiencing the same thing now. So Salma Ali Abdallah is a 25 years old, a Kenyan young female leader, and soon to be a graduate in information technology from Mount Kenya University. She loves empowering youth, especially young women and adolescents, through offering guiding and counseling sessions career guidance, paid drives, and campaigning against gender-based violence, drug abuse, and substance abuse. Another type of violence, extremism. Salma is a martial arts instructor. She likes nurturing talents through sports, training mostly girls' self-defense as a one way of preventing sexual harassment for women. Her biggest hobby and aspiration was traveling the world. Salma, take it away.
Thank you very much. I'm going to take you through a poem called Let Our Voices Be Heard. Ladies around the world, let your voices rise. For today, we speak of a subject shrouded in silence. Let us break up the chains that bind us and embrace the power of our womanhood. In the rhythm of our cycles lies the heartbeat of generations to come. Yet society whispers shame and whispers pain as if our sacred essence were a stain. Oh, Africa, hear our plea, for menstrual hygiene is a right, not a luxury. Our sisters suffer in silence, their dreams eclipsed by taboos and ignorance. We bleed, we cramp, we endure, while hidden away from sight. But no more, we declare, for our bodies are temples, not objects of shame to bear. Africans, let us rise as one, a force united, breaking the barriers that hinder our daughters and sisters. Let us educate, empower, elevate the worth. No more shall they miss school or be denied opportunities to do a natural cycle. Together we shall provide access to hygiene, to dignity, to pride. For every girl deserves a chance to soar, to dream, and to thrive. So let us stand tall, Africa and beyond. Embrace strength of sisterhood, for our bodies, our cycles are not a burden but a celebration of life. Let our voices echo through the ages, empowering the next generation as we redefine the narrative and embrace menstrual hygiene with love, compassion, and understanding. Thank you. Back to you, the host.
Woof. I really don't want you to end it. I've been telling you this. The poem is just, it's exhaust. It's exhaust. I mean, you're speaking out. Indeed, it is time to stop putting us inside the houses and telling us not to go anywhere. Yeah, it is time to know that we are women and menstruation is part of us. Thank you so much, Salma. And that was from CND Kakos, everyone. Now we are coming to our panelists, and we'll have one from SA, we'll have one from CND, and we'll also have one from WA. That's Southern Africa Kakos, the Central Africa Kakos, and the West African Kakos. First, we have Jane. Jane is a dedicated individual. She's passionate about using her skills and knowledge. She holds a Bachelor of Arts degree in Development, Communication, and Mass Communication. She has equipped her, which has equipped her with a strong understanding of how to effectively communicate with diverse audiences and drive meaningful change. Jane's commitment to making a difference is reflected in her involvement with corporate social responsibility initiatives and her work with organizations such as Save African Families. Looking ahead, Jane's ultimate goal is to become a voice for the weak and marginalized through her voluntary work and activities. With her dedication, empathy, and strong communication skills, Jane aims to inspire positive change and empower those in need. Jane is from the CND Kakos, and Jane is coming to give us some myths about the CND, things they believe and that they shouldn't believe. So everyone sit tight, be ready to ask your questions because now we are into the real thing as we have Jane on board to come and tell us about CND. Jane, take it away. Seems like Jane is preparing for us. I know, right? Sandy, we really want to hear what you have for us because we want to know really the myths that surround it. We consider Sandy and Kakos as the cities of Africa. It's not WA. So whilst we're waiting for Jane, we'll go to WA Kakos and we have Stella with us. Stella is from West African Caucus. She holds a degree in public administration and management, a girl child activist, youth and young adult leader. She's a member of the Amazon Leadership Initiatives, like I told you. She's passionate about girl child education and has worked on projects aimed to end gender-based violence and violence against women and girls with UNICEF and CNN. As a teacher, she believes and champions the system Catch Them Young, and this passion gave birth to our organization known as Catch the Young. Miss Stella is married with wonderful kids. Miss Stella wants to hear about WH. I am so eager and waiting, everyone.
Hello, everyone. Good evening, wherever you're joining us from. It's nice being here on a time like this to talk about facts and myths that affect women and girls during their menstrual time. You might be wondering what might be this myth, or you think that such myth does not exist or doesn't come to bear. It is real and it's still happening in most countries, especially in West Africa. You might be surprised to hear that a woman or a girl went through A or B or C because she is menstruating or because she's seeing her menses. And you'll be surprised, even in a time like this, in this kind of developed a millennium, how could such might be still be in practice? My dear, they are still in practice. And I'm here to light through them some practices that we have in West Africa that have been, how do I put it? That have been a limited factor, a limitation to the girl child and the woman at large. Number one, you hear, you will not get pregnant if you have unprotected sex while menstruating. We are yet to get the doctrine or the facts behind that you will never get pregnant. Not that you will not get pregnant when you are single, once you get married, that you wouldn't get pregnant because you once had an unprotected sex with a man while you were menstruating. It is still happening. Number two talks about taking a bath during menstruation time brings about infertility. Now, our first speaker talked about keeping hygiene where you are menstruating. And now some parts of the country in the West Africa is telling us that taking a bath during your menstrual cycle brings about infertility. How could that be? Meanwhile, here we are advocating and campaigning for a self-personal hygiene to keep fit and to keep healthy. And some might is trying to tell the young child to bring fear in her that while you are doing this, don't take your bath. That is not true. Number three, as I said, menstruating women and girls are witch. It still exists in some part of West Africa. They exist more and more. That a woman or a man, and those things are being coming from our generational fathers, our forefathers, is not what comes in now. It's been inherited. As you're growing up, they will tell you, this is how it used to be. This is how it was, and that is how it should be. We made this from our forefathers. We were told this, we were told that when you are menstruating, because you are a witch. That means in those days, they saw a girl who is not menstruating as a normal human, while the one that is menstruating is sick or is being bewitched by one evil spirit. Can we imagine that? Meanwhile, here we are, when trying to get pregnant or you're having issues trying to get pregnant, doctor will ask you, how many times have you seen your menses in a month or in a year? Is it regular? And in those days, some part of the country is telling some girls who haven't had this opportunity that we have now, that menstruating of a girl or a woman is a witch. That is what we are talking about now. We have to debunk this myth. They are not fat, and they are making our girls to be afraid and causing them some limitations. Number four, they said, burning or bearing pads leads to infertility. Still where we are on personal hygiene. How could you imagine that when you use your pad or when you discard it, it now brings about to you an infertility? How could that be? After using your pad, so are we expected to hold with it or to sleep with it or to package it back to our clothing where it's supposed to be? No. The right thing is to discard it however you wish to discard. But we're telling us here that burying our pads leads to infertility. That is not true, and we are debunking it. Number five says, menstruating women and girls should not eat certain foods. Yes, a girl who is menstruating or a woman who is menstruating that normally eats every food when she's not menstruating. Once she starts menstruating, it is a taboo for her to eat 1 or 2 fruits because she is menstruating. But under no circumstances, once she's done, she is allowed to eat that food. But because she is seeing that blood, she is not allowed to eat that. It is forbidden for her. Number 6 says, old menstrual clothes should be buried in the ground because evil spirits will be attracted to them. How can an old menstrual cloth that you used or you wore during when you were menstruating, for instance, you're going to work and you're menstruating, and the clothes you wore, once you come back, you go and bury it. Why? Because if you leave it, they believe that an evil spirit will be attracted to that cloth, meanwhile trying to cause you harm or bringing a harm to the entire family. What's a belief? Another one says menstruating women or girls should not cook for their husband. For example, in Sierra Leone, Ghana, and Nigeria, such things happen. Personally, to some husbands, they forbid their wife who is menstruating from cooking from them for the personal reason. They'll believe that she is not clean, that she is very, very unclean from inside. So that reason, she has no need or no power to cook whatever he is meant to eat or the entire family. That is might. And we say no to that. A woman should not be chastised. A woman should not be put at the back of the door because of how God has made her. She didn't make herself. So if everybody begin to feel like this, that means no woman will exist and no girl child will exist. And for example, the men too will not exist. Then this one says, females should not be allowed at the altar. Yes, especially in Nigeria and in Ghana. It's even to a point that it affects their promotion. Because you're a woman and you are menstruating, you are not allowed to attain certain level of promotion in the ministry. I'm not talking about those that are not believing, the believers. The believers that believe the Christ our Lord and Savior. Because you are a woman who uses pad and who sees the blood every month, you cannot climb the altar. You cannot go to the altar and preach. You cannot go to the altar and administer communion. Most importantly, yes, communion. A woman that is menstruating is not allowed to administer communion because of what she's menstruating. Even in the Christendom, that we are saying, behold, all things are passed away and things are becoming, but we are still dwelling in the things of the past. A woman should not administer communion. She will not be at the altar. She won't read the Bible at the altar, and she will not even preach at the altar in times like this where we are existing. The next one says, a woman touches a woman that is menstruating, or again that is menstruating, touches a flower or any plants that the plants will wither or die. And now ask ourselves, is our hands chemicals? Are we having chemical in our hands, or is our hand that poisonous that when we are menstruating and we touch a plant, the plants will wither? And milk as well, that if you're menstruating and we touch milk, the milk will change color. That is in Ghana and in Nigeria. That is their belief, that if you're menstruating, we should be far from plants and milk. The plants will wither and die, while the milk will change color. All these and more is what is bringing fear to the girl child who is growing. They feed her with so much might. It happens like this, it happens like this. In some cases, you're allowed to take some road. Don't walk in the part of the road because you are menstruating. It's a sacrilege. It's sacrilege because she's carrying blood. If you walk in that road, you're going to spot the things that road, or you spot some gods. So all these things is a limitation. We are kind of a campaign to tell the girl child, you are who God has made you to be. Whatever they say is who you are is not who you are. All these things are might. Human beings on their own way bring about it, just like the killing of the twins. That was how it is those days till now. So we are saying no, they are not real. Our girl child to be allowed to exist the way God made them. And they should be allowed to partake in things that they're meant to partake without fear or frustration from any angle. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you so much. I told everyone that WA Campus has everything. Actually, about the mixed yogurt, I also have a question because I make yogurt for sale sometimes, and whenever I am menstruating, I don't set the yogurt because we set it for like a day or two before ever you can then process it and then make it for you to put in the fridge. So I won't set it for that time. It will be my friend doing it, and if she is also menstruating, it will be me doing it. And it is all believed that you shouldn't do it because the yogurt will actually spoil, and it happens. This is the thing that bothers me. I don't know if our ancestors passed something on that particular meat or what they did to it, but I have never actually tried making it like that. Whenever we make a yogurt and bring it, and if it's bitter, people will be like, "Oh, were you masticating? Probably it was that. You shouldn't touch it." Or we have something that we add on our potato later when we're cooking it. It gives it very good and beautiful and sweet aroma. So we use it. And preparing it from scratch, if you're also menstruating, you're not allowed to prepare it because they're like you will tamper with it and it will not produce the smell that it should produce. It will not give you what it should give you. So for me, the makes everything that I'm learning from WA because it's more like saying that as a woman, your only work or your only job is to be at the private supplier. That is, stay indoors, stay inside. Your work is behind the kitchen. You shouldn't be a woman that is outside politically or socially involved because all of these saying that, you're messing, don't come to the altar. You're messing, don't touch that book. You're messing, don't cook for me. You're messing, don't be with this person. It's stopping them like that. Well, questions are coming for WA. I am sure that they will be coming. And now, thank you so much, Stella. Thank you so much. You actually helped us. You're indeed a teacher. It taught us a lot. Thank you. Next we have Winfred Takani. Winfred is a sociology graduate, a HIV and AIDS peer educator, also an ambassador, and a volunteer at Athletics in Action Lesotho and a member of the Amazon Leadership Initiative, South African caucus. She's currently undergoing a training in tour guide and host experience at Women First Health Program while working at Maxhokow Electrical Construction as an administrator. Winfred values excellency, accountability, and physiological well-being. Winfred will be telling us about the myths surrounding everything menstruation at the SACACOS, I mean the South African countries, and the truths about them. So, Winfred, hope you're ready for us. Please take it away. Whilst we are waiting for Winfred, I want you to know that after Winfred, we'll be having a short video. That's an informative video. Yes. They'll be teaching us about menstruation, myths surrounding it. And from the video, we'll be having our guest speaker. She's also from WA, West Africa. So we'll be getting more everything that Stella probably left out. We would get, and we'll get more emphasis on certain other ones as we're waiting for that one. So, whilst Winfred will be coming later, now let's move to the video and let's all sit tight, hold our hearts, open our ears, get ready to ask questions, and learn from what we're getting today. So now we will have the video.
The monthly flow of blood in a woman is called menses. This is usually seen as dirty by many of us women, but this is not true. The uterus also wants to stay clean, just like we clean our homes. So from this definition, menstruation is all about a biological phenomenon which keeps our reproductive system clean, very far away from being dirty. So stigma starts from us. Some women don't even eat their own cooked food because they are menstruating. This is not fair. It's just like you're punishing yourselves for what nature has done for you and not what nature has done to you. So if we decide to end the stigma, we convince the others and bleed with pride.
Hello, greetings. A myth concerning menstrual hygiene, which states women shed impure blood during periods. Well, the fact is, it is an extremely common misconception that periods blood is dirty or impure. However, what most people feel or fail to understand is that the menstrual cycle is part of a woman's reproductive system and also prepares her for a possible pregnancy or for a pregnancy. Thus, I wouldn't consider saying that it is impure blood that women shed during their periods. And also, no woman should be ashamed of shedding this blood or even feel being impure, for it is a gift from God and part of us women.
Hi everyone, today on Menstruation Hygiene Day, I chose to end period stigma and poverty and making menstruation a normal fact. Since there is a myth that menstruation indicates readiness to early marriages in the sex, whereby we get that the girls get to child marriages at a younger age. You get these abuses like sexual violence in the early pregnancies. Therefore, this is not good. I'll oppose to that myth and say that it's all about making menstruation a normal fact of life. We need to end stigma surrounding menstruation. We just say we really need to. This is not good at all. We need to be courage, because you find a small percentage they can be able to stand for themselves.
So there is something called premenstrual syndrome. Yes, it is PMS. So there is this thing about PMS. Most times the myth about it is that we women, our emotions all the time, we're claiming that I am not stable, I'm crying, I am nervous, like, just different mental cycles that you just experience during that period. Let me tell you this, the fact is you have every right to your emotions. Yes, you have it. If you want to cry, cry. If you want to laugh, laugh. Whatever you feel in that moment, explore it. You know why? Because it is your emotion. That's you. And let me tell you, menstrual cycle, it's natural. So do not fear it. And guys, it is menstrual cycle day. Happy one. Explore your bodies.
Hello everyone, my name is Ruth Macaulay and I'm here to talk about a myth on menstruation. The myth is menstruation is a taboo. I am here to debunk this myth that menstruation is not a taboo. Rather, it is a natural bodily process that occurs in young girls that have attained the age of puberty and in young women across different cultures and societies. Menstruation is a topic that should be discussed openly and not with shame, with young girls, with women, and with men, so that they can learn more about the natural occurrence and do not spread stigmatization or false news about it. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you so much, Exilda. That was it. I need to tell you all, PMS, I have personal been with PMS, yes. Because do you see, like Katricia was presenting, she told us about the emotions. I know we all suffer them, right? They're just those days that you don't want to talk to anyone. Like you just don't want to. You don't want to be seen. Or naturally, you just don't. We just want to cry. And you'll be crying for the whole of the day. And after some minutes after crying, you'll be asking your God, what is this, please? How did it happen? So it's PMS that I value so much. Personally, it is key to my heart. It is key to my heart. And like Stella said, you can dispose your pads however you want. Whenever I burn my pads in front of people, whether they're young, I mean this generation, Gen Z generation, that shouldn't even be thinking that way. Them together with the old ones will always be like, you're burning your children away. I mean, it's wasted egg that became that blood. How is it that I am burning my child? Like how? Where is this even getting? Where are people getting it from? It is not easy. So for everyone that just joined us, thank you so much for coming. You're welcome. If you have questions, do not forget to send them to our chat box. We are here taking your questions and we will definitely ask them. You will get the answers that you want from them. Send in your questions, send in your questions, send in your questions, send in your questions. I am saying it because I want you to learn from this. Don't go out of this webinar and then saying that, I didn't get what I wanted to get. Get it today. Send in your questions. Yes. That question that you've been holding on to, if you're like me, you don't have a family member to ask here today. It's a safe space. Do not fear. We are all here to learn and get from each other. Send in your questions and send in where you are from. I don't know if I'm the only Salonian here, but if I have another Salonian, please send in. I want to see the flag. I want to know that we are from the same place. West Africa, let's send the fire emojis. Please, let's see them. Let's know. Peace. I mean, I want to see CND. Yes, let's see SACACOS. Everyone, let's just send them. We're coming to one of the most interesting and one of the most important one here. So I want it to be a very active. We've gotten from the CACOSs, and now we will come and get from a guest speaker. Yes, someone that has dedicated her own path to doing justice. Yes. And so she's coming to give us justice on all of this. Are you ready? Are you ready? Okay. So we are having them back. Yay. Okay. So I know that I want to learn about FACACOS. I want to learn. I really want to know the myths around there that's surrounding them. Winnie, are you back? Winnie, you're welcome. Please take the stage and let's hear from FACACOS. Okay. So, ladies and gentlemen, if we have a gentleman here, I'll be so happy that you're here because you'll be learning and you'll be here to send it over to the other men. We need to tell them when we are messing, they need to come out. It's painful. So everybody, wait. After reading this bio, I want everyone to put on their cameras. We will clap, send in our clap emojis and clap physically, and also be shouting if you can. Just make that noise and welcome her. Okay, a deal? Okay. Now we are having our guest speaker. Our guest speaker is from Nigeria, West Africa. She's Faith Musa and also a menstrual hygiene enthusiast, the program director for Menstrual Health Nigeria, a page that promotes and educates girls and women on menstrual health and hygiene. She's also the host of a podcast, Malema Speaks, on Anchor, as well as a YouTuber, Malema Speaks, where she talks about womanhood, motherhood, and all things menstruation. I told you, it's menstruation that she has dedicated to. And she told us, people call her Malema. Malema. Everyone, please, let's put on our cameras. 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 Let's put on our cameras. Let's put on our cameras. Yes, the cameras. As long as the network is working, please put on your camera. Yay, please. Yes, your camera, as long as the network is working. Yes, yes, yes. Yes, I want to. As long as your network is working, put on your camera. It is time. It is time. Everyone, let's clap. We should be really excited. We have a guest here, and we are welcoming here Ms Faith Musa. Welcome, ma'am. Yay, please come and take it.
You guys, I'm very, very sorry. I have to put off my camera because somebody is being naughty and I cannot, can you see? Can you see? Permission to put off my camera, please. So that she won't interrupt our program, please. Oh, I'm so sorry about that. I actually made up for you guys. I don't know how to make up, but I took my time to make up just so that I would look. But unfortunately, this little human is cramping my steez, if I can say that. Okay, so thank you for the introduction. I'm a little bit shy. So in a way, I'm excited that my baby has made me put off my camera. That's what happens if you're an only child, you know, and we're just two most of the time. So yes, so my name is Faith, as she rightly said, and I'm here to talk about menstrual health and human rights, menstrual health and relations to human rights, and I would like to say equity. Can you hear me, guys?
Yes, yes, yes. We're ready.
Okay. So as we know, menstrual health is a complete, you can't talk about menstrual health without talking about the physical, the mental, and the social well-being of the persons who menstruate. That's how I like to say it. So menstrual health is the total well-being of the people who menstruate. So achieving menstrual health is fundamental to equity. It is fundamental to the rights and dignities of the people who menstruate. And as much as people would like to say that menstrual health is a girl or a woman problem, no, menstrual health is a world problem. It's a general problem. Men and boys are supposed to be educated about menstrual health and hygiene, because if the woman is not okay, the nation is not okay. I mean, show me one nation that can survive without women. And who are the people who menstruate? Women. So how can you say that menstruation is just a woman problem? It's not okay. I don't even want to hear it. So menstrual health, when we talk about human rights, we're talking about your being or your right to life or your right to dignity, your right to equity. And that includes menstrual health or menstrual equity, as we have it on social media, right? So menstruation is related to human dignity. When people cannot access safe bathing facilities or, you know, effective means of managing their menstrual hygiene, then there is a general problem here, you know. So you cannot manage your menstruation without dignity and you say that everything is okay. So exclusion, shame, undermining the woman as a result of her menstruation, I think is sick, and it's a breach of one's fundamental human rights, you know. That's how I put it. So gender inequality, extreme poverty, and humanitarian crisis are traditions that are associated with menstruation. And I think that should be looked into. wait, I'm coming. So we all know that menstruation starts between the ages of 10 and 16. And the first menstruation is called the menarche. So sometimes when a girl starts her period, in some places like Nigeria, I know that sometimes they kind of, okay, so here's the thing. I am a stepmom. And before my first child, that's my stepchild, started her period, I had already given her the lowdown. In fact, I brought out sanitary towel. I showed her how to do this, how to do that, how to, clean herself when the need arises, But when it eventually happened, I wasn't around, and she didn't even know that she was on her period, she had started her period. So she got stained. And then she went to the estate shop to get something, and then somebody saw her and quickly got wrapper and covered her and was making a big deal out of it. So they brought her home, and I'm like, okay, Hadiza, what's the problem? Why are you making it a big deal? We've talked about this and you know what to do, So if somebody tells you that you're stained, you don't say, oh, okay, carry yourself with dignity, come home and do the needful. What if I wasn't at home? And a woman actually made it a big deal. And so I told her that, listen, this is these are the kind of problem things that will make a child that will make
Seems like network issues everywhere. Whilst we're waiting for her to come back, I want her to come back because she has started something that I also have interest in. Let's I am certain that I am not saying about the Kenyans, I know you know the story more than all of us, but for other places, I know that we saw the video online about when the parliamentarian woman had her blood stain inside parliament. We are not certain if it was staged or if it was real, but one thing is everyone. And she didn't only want to do it now, like she sending online messages anymore. No, she was not ready to say, okay, this now take it inside the house. We need to, where we are making the laws, that is where we're taking them now. So, like Ms. Faith was saying, there are attractive women that will shame you because you have a blood stain on. Like she got her own and got two men, of which even them they had their own comments that was really not, for me, didn't go down well with me as a feminist. I only contact them because they were not in support of what the majority wanted of sending her out, like on suspending her. Because if you are messing, why is it a taboo that in fact you are messing as a woman? Is it our fault that in fact that we are having these cramps every month? Who wants to be feeling pain or be changing moods like every month? You have different moods every week. Every week you have, today you'll be happy, today you'll not be happy, the next day you are this. Which woman wants all of that? It's a world that is, it's just a world that is on its own. Having women shaming their fellow women, you shaming others and asking them things like that. You're a woman, you should not do this. It's a taboo to us. shouldn't burn your pad if you burn your pad like this. Or them, or the women that use their menstruating blood and cook with food and serve to the public because they think it brings them luck or money, things like that. Yes, WA Kakos told you. I have actually eaten two. I've eaten from two people that did that. They died and they confessed before dying that they did it. But here I am still alive, kicking, and I am doing what I am supposed to be doing. Nothing happened to me. So it's all these things that surrounding me. If there wasn't a myth that told them that if you use your blood on your food and cook it and sell it out, it will sell and give you more money, they wouldn't have done something like that. In fact, if people were not told that if you use someone's blood or pad and you do witch on it, you'll be able to do something about her life, her destiny, they wouldn't have done it. In fact, if people were just minding their business and saying, I'm minding my business, it's
Hello.
you and your pain, you. Hey, welcome. Thank you. We're happy.
Oh, sorry. They took the light, so Wi-Fi went off, and I had issues connecting with my mobile data. I don't know. I just happened. It just happens. I was hoping that they wouldn't take the light today, but okay. So as I was saying, I don't even know where did I said menstrual health issues are public issues. So, menstrual equity is something that we don't talk about. We don't talk about enough. And I think it is high time we started talking about these issues. And I think it's worldwide. I don't know if it's just West Africa. I'm talking based on Africa where I know, or Nigeria where I know, but I know that there are things that can affect your human rights, your rights as a human being, just because you're menstruating. And it's sad, but that's what's happening, and we cannot help it. And number one is right to health. Yes, your right to health can be affected through stigma. Menstruation stigma. There are some people that cannot even open their mouth and tell their parents or their friends if they are menstruating because they do not want to be stigmatized. When I did my introduction, I said that the reason why I'm passionate about menstruation is because I had a tough time. In fact, anytime I am menstruating, the whole house, I carry the whole house along with me. So most times we have to go to the hospital. In fact, a few times I have to go on drip. So in my house, it wasn't, even though we don't talk about it, it is something that everybody knows, So when Maluma is menstruating, everybody knows. My dad will know, my mother will know, my brothers. I have 4 brothers. They would know that something is happening. So it's not so much of a taboo, but people who are not open, families who aren't open, some ladies go through it alone and they suffer. So their right to health is affected because you cannot confide in anybody. And so some people go through hell. The pains is not be here. You go through back pain, you go through stomach pain, severe stomach pain, even though that's a menstrual disorder, yes, but we cannot hide for the fact that people go through these pains. I studied abroad, and I know that there was a time that I had one of my cases and I was in the library. This is somebody who just walked, catwalk into the library, and 15 minutes later, I couldn't even walk. I couldn't even sit down. They had to carry me. 3 people carried me, So imagine, when I got home, I told my housemates that, listen, I am embarrassed because some people might think I had an abortion, because it doesn't make sense. What kind of stomach pain is doing you that you cannot even sit down? They had to call a taxi, carry you home. And then I told them, don't take me to your hospital. There's no point. Let me go home and take my painkillers and put my leg in hot water and sleep. I will sleep, and then when I wake up, I'll be fine. So your right to health is affected because you menstruate, which is not fair. Your right to education is affected, yes, because there's inability to manage your menstrual hygiene in schools. Some girls would rather not go to school, right? The inability to have access to menstrual products is a factor that can affect your going to school. According to some estimation online, they said that 500 million people over the world have difficulty accessing menstrual products. I mean, that's a huge number. I almost didn't believe it, but it's on the website. It's there for us to see. So if you'll be staying and boys will laugh at you, so right to work. There are people who cannot go to work because of their menstrual pain. Those 3 days or 1 day or 2 days that you undergo your period, you are in severe pains, and that can affect your right to work. Even though some offices understand, but a good number of offices do not understand, and you cannot call into your place of work and tell them that, oh, I had menstrual cramps, so I cannot come to work. But all of us know that you can't do that. In Nigeria, you can't call your oga and tell him that you have menstrual cramps, so you cannot come to work. You have to look for something else to say, not menstrual cramps. So your right to gender equality is also affected because of the stigmas and norms related to menstruation. It can reinforce discriminatory practices, So menstruation-related barriers at school, work, health services, and public places also perpetuate gender inequalities. So there is an inequality. We cannot hide from the fact that there is an inequality. There's no balance, So we need to create a balance. And then the last one I would say is the right to water, right? Water and sanitation. Water plays a major role when it comes to menstruation. You can't menstruate without water. I mean, how do you clean up? Water plays a major role in sanitation, menstrual sanitation. So if there is insufficient water, for bathing, if there are no bathing facilities, if they are not private, if they are not safe, if they are not acceptable, then how would you be free to carry out your period? So these are the major points that I can say that affect your rights as a human being. So basically, how can we support, how can we, play a part in towards gender equality? Mama, wait, Mom. I'm working. How can we play a part towards gender equality? How can we make our voices known? We can do that through conversations. That's why we are having these conversations. It's not enough. Somebody cannot tell your story for you. You have to tell your story. We cannot keep quiet and allow men, just dismiss our pains, dismiss our concerns about what we go through. We have to let this men know that, listen, this is how will I say, this is a matter of importance. This is a matter of urgency, This is a crisis that needs to be addressed, So we have to share our period stories. I like that video, if we can have more of people sharing their stories, talk about menstruation with people, talk about it with your brothers, talk about it with your fathers, talk about it with your sisters, talk about it with your mothers, talk about it in church, talk about it in school. I love talking to schoolgirls. That's my area of specialty. I go to schools, junior secondary schools to be precise, and I talk about it. And usually when we do, we usually end up with a song, song about your reproductive organs, how you protect your reproductive organs against abuse, and how you take care of yourself as a woman. Because you see this junior secondary school ages, that's the ages that they start menstruation. Most of them are within the ages of 9, 13, 14, and that's the age that people start menstruation. So we need to do better. We need to sensitize them and talk about it so that it will be a world issue that people will start talking about. So even in our social media, the second one is our social media. We can have flyers. You know, we shouldn't be ashamed. Menstruation. In fact, I was telling somebody yesterday, I said, see, menstruation blood is not dirty blood. It's regular blood with tissue. It's not dirty. How you manage your menstruation that determines if you are dirty or not. And I can say for a fact that I am most cleanest, if I can use the word. I am the cleanest when I'm menstruating. So what is dirty about menstruation really? What is the fuss about you're dirty, you're unclean, you cannot cook, you cannot, if you don't want to eat the food, get out. You know, I would eat my food. In fact, I think we're the ones that are even allowing these people undermine us. We need to get serious. So the next one is we should advocate for affordable and safe products in our schools, in our place of businesses. I carry pad in my bag. I carry 1 or 2 just in case. You know, you never know. You can see a sister who happens to be staying. You just give her, let her just go and change. Or, you know, some people don't carry. And yes, somebody has stopped me to ask me if I have some towel. You know, so let's be our sisters' keepers. You know, then the last one I can say is just to be a leader. Be a leader, you know. Let's just take matters in our hands, if I can say that, in a good way, because we have to really, we have to tell her, nobody will take you serious if you do not take yourself serious. Nobody will can feel the pains that we go through if we do not relate these pains and issues with people, you know. So men need to know, we need to help them understand that this is something that should be taken care of. Imagine the mother is not feeling well because she's on her period. The whole house is not okay. I know for a fact that if my mom is not okay, the whole house is not okay. Mom is sick. Who is going to cook? Who is going to, your father is not even okay. Haven't you seen cases where your mom will travel and your father will be like a cat? You know how cats are, sitting down waiting for your mother to come back because his gist partner or his companion is not around. There's nothing you can do to keep your father company because you are not his companion. So yeah, basically let's just let's take care of ourselves. If you take care of yourself, then people will take you seriously. So we need to address the stigma. We need to address the stereotypes. All these gender-based discriminations need to stop, you know. Menstruation is a good thing. Without menstruation, there won't be procreation, right? Yes. So, and in Nigeria, honestly, if you do not menstruate, there's problem. So how can we say that if you do not menstruate, they can actually call a state of emergency? Your child is not menstruating. So in fact, we mothers are our problem. So your child is not menstruating. You would take it upon your head and go to the length and breadth of, you know, anywhere you can go to just to make sure your child menstruates. You can talk about that one. But when your child is menstruating, you cannot talk about that. I find it difficult. I find it difficult to relate to that. So if we can be worried if we don't menstruate, then we should also, it's a big deal when we do, and we need to be taken care of, okay? We need to be taken care of during our period. So we need to create an enabling environment where women and girls in all their diversity are empowered to exercise their autonomy. You know, we need to be able to make reformed choices about our lives and bodies. It is our lives, it is our bodies. And that includes our menstrual health. You know, so we need to be free of stigma. We need to be, Mama, stop it now. Oh my goodness. Anyways, so we need to ensure that women and girls have access to justice and remedies for violations of these sexual and reproductive health rights. You know, that includes the rights to menstrual health. So there should be a right to menstrual health. You know, menstruation is fabulous. That's all I can say. Yes, you're a woman, you should be proud of your menstruation. You should be proud of your period. You know, that makes you a woman and that makes you special. Thank you.
Wow. There's so much that we took from all of this. Honestly, I like the fact that we need to take up leadership as as women. We need to be educating the men, and we also need to be telling people, I am not sick because of this. Miss Faith, I beg. Miss Faith, thank you. About the age side, 9. Do you know also if you menstruate at the age of 8, 9, 10, 11? For us here, I don't know for other sides, but for me, like going matured and going older than even the ones that are older than you by age because you menstruated earlier. Like, wow. But then we were kids, we didn't know anything about it, right? I mean, having 500 million goals, and I find it very difficult to get all of this hard stuff on how to be managing their menstrual cycles and getting their hygiene. It's like having 500 million girls or women also that are in poverty. Because it's like we said, SDG 3, 4, 5, and 6 goes with menstrual cycle. This is amazing. Really, this is amazing. If you're messy, then you are sick. If they consider you sick, then the whole house is sick because it is what they use for reproduction. We actually just got something at the chat box that Brazil has already made it legal. If you're messing, a woman has now 4 days off work whenever it's your time for menstruation. Wow. How we wish this will happen in every country. We have one office here. It's a feminist office in Freetown. They lead feminist movement stuff inside Sierra. They're called Purposeful Organization. Inside their bathroom, they have pads of different types. So in case you don't want to use this one, you want to use the other one. And they're black plastics. There was water, there's everything. In case you just like as a staff, unknowingly it happens to you or someone along the way. The day I entered the bathroom and I saw it, I was like, wow, please, these big other organizations, UNICEF, Plan and others, come and see the one that's just 5 years old in the country, what they are doing, because they have what feminism is inside their mind when they're practicing it and all that. This is what we are learning. This is what we say we are learning. This is what should be happening. I mean, we're going to Brazil, I think all of us. Thank you so much, Ms. Faith. So now, everyone, it is time for question and answers. We told you that you should send in your questions at the chat box, and we have plenty questions. So we are going to bring questions and be directing the ones that are directed to certain people that have spoken. And then, yes, we will go. But before the question and answers and then call to action, we will have Winnie on board. Winnie is coming to give us about as we cut across the meat. We're giving her just 5 minutes. Please, Winnie, help us with as we cut across the meat.
Hello, hello, hello. Hi, everybody. Greetings. My name is Takani Winfred Nakara, just as she has said. So my presentation will be based on stigmas, myths, and taboos related to menstruation in Africa, specifically the Southern Africa. So, according to UNICEF, women take up to 7 years of menstruation during their lifetime. That is 7 years of shame, 7 years of discrimination, 7 years of unnecessary barriers, to name a few. For this, people all over the world stigmatize menstruation due to lack of knowledge, and therefore they cause damage and misconceptions and discrimination to women and young girls. Without any further ado, I would like to get into my keywords. Firstly, I have social stigma. Social stigma is an extreme perception of social characteristics based on perception to distinguish an individual from other members of society. We can say it's a mark of disgrace. We have a taboo. Taboo is simply something that is prohibited or restricted by social customs. We have a myth, which is a commonly believed but false idea. First of all, I'd like to take on the myths. Food will rot quicker if a menstruating girl gets into contact with it. This is not true. I've had an experience with it. In my country, girls are not allowed to go out to the garden to get a specific vegetable because it is believed that it will rot quicker if a girl gets in contact with it. So I've had an experience with it. It has never happened. Sharks will attack you if you go swimming. Ladies, I would like to tell you that it's okay for you guys to go out swimming. Sharks will not attack you because the concentration level of your blood based on the concentration level that we get in the ocean, it is not count. No shark will attack you. Having sex while on your period kills a partner. This is totally not true. In fact, women, about 36% of women, about 39% of women actually have sex during their period. This is from a sex survey that was taken by Body Form. So it's okay to have periods when you're on your, it's actually okay to have sex when you're on your period, and it is harmless to your partner. Menstruation means that one is sexually active. This is so not true. Menstruation takes place when one has come of age. It doesn't matter because it could be when you're 8 years, it could be when you're 11, when you're 12, when you're 16. And according to the statistics, most girls get raped even from a younger age before they actually reach that period. Letting people know about your period exposes one to getting raped. This is not true. This is not true. Women's blood can be used for witchcraft. People use women's blood to attract money. They say that if they take out blood from the pets to give it out to their animals, they actually attract more money and they get wealthy. This is just a myth because I believe all of us would be rich. I believe so. So it's not true. No contact with boys. This is to say that a girl on her periods cannot go out there to have contact with boys because they will smell the blood on her, and that means they might dislike her. So this is totally wrong and not true because most of us go out there, we go to do our grocery, we go to school, we go to work while on our periods, and nobody has ever came up to me and say, "Hey girl, you're smelling," and "Oh, girl, you don't smell good." It has never happened. So I believe that this is totally wrong. Tampons break virginity. Tampons do not break virginity. Virginity is broken up by penetration of a penis. What tampons do, they can stretch or they can cause a break in the hymen, but they do not break virginity. One thinks highly of themselves. This is to say that I want you to think of a girl and in Southern Africa, in an underdeveloped country, living in a one room, living with her mother, her father, her brother, and then she gets her period. When she asks her brother or her father to leave the room so that she can take a bath, and then the father says, "Oh, you think highly of yourself. Just because you get a period, you think you're better than the rest of us." This is what people actually face. I actually had a case where a girl told me that I wanted to take a bath and my brother couldn't leave the room. When I told my mother about it, the brother said my mother hates him. So it actually happens, but it's wrong that people actually think like this. These myths are unfounded and can only contribute to shame and stigmatization. I would like us to move on to the taboos. Women are impure, dirty, and sinful. This is so not true because having periods does not mean that you are dirty, whether spiritually or physically. Physically, of course, people take our period blood as dead, but I don't think we take it as that. We don't take it as that. So it actually just cleanses us. It's something to be proud about. It's something to say, "Oh, hey, I'm good. I can reproduce." So it's something to be grateful for instead of feeling ashamed of. Periods are secretive. A girl is forbidden from talking publicly about them. So most of the time, menarche, it's either whoops, menarche is either celebratory or uncomfortable for most girls because they get fearful and they get concerned. For me, my periods were rather celebratory because I remember how I told my mother about it. All my friends had gotten their periods by the time, and I got my periods eventually. I told my mom about it. My mother took her phone and she called everybody. She called my aunt, she called my father, she called people to let them know that, hey, and I was so excited. I thought that it was something to be happy about. But for some girls, they can actually say, hey, I got my period. For them, it's like, oh my God, what is happening? This is mostly because they are uninformed ahead of time. And when they get here, they can't talk about it because sometimes it's even forbidden to talk about it in their cultures to say, this is what is happening. Women are prohibited to attend religious ceremonies because, well, they are treated in a way that is they are regarded as impure, so they cannot attend religious ceremonies. But this is not right because thinking of a woman who has planned ahead of an Easter conference and then she gets her periods on the day, would she stop going to attend a ceremony and stay at home? I think this is wrong that people actually treat us like this. Non-menstruating people treat us like this because if they were in our shoes, they would understand that it's okay to go out there because the reason to attend religious ceremonies is simply to heal, to get that. So girls cannot stand at the door in my country, which is Lesotho. A menstruating girl cannot stand at the door. It is forbidden. We cannot do that. We don't know the reason behind it, but we cannot do it. Girls on periods are forbidden from eating while standing. This as well is happening in my country. I cannot be eating while standing around my period. Gender inequality. There is stereotype, especially in the patriarchal communities, whereby a man is a leader, whereby a man's voice is law. And for this case, things like sanitary pads are not treated as household expenditure. Because if a man says, this is a grocery, this is how much I'm giving you to do the grocery, then a woman's voice is not heard. So because they'll actually get obedient and they do not find the voice to say, hey, we actually need to buy this much for myself and my kids because after all, it's secretive. Non-menstruating people believe that menstruation is proportional to marriage and childbearing. For Swaziland, there was a girl in an article where she said she got her period, she was away, and when she got home, she told her mother, hey, I got my period. And the mother was like, great, you can bear children. She was shocked. She felt uncomfortable. And I can feel what she was going through by the time that because you have your periods does not mean that you're ready for marriage. This is why we see most girls getting married in their teenage years because they got the period and people think, okay, you're ready for all this. So this is actually true and it is not good at all. Last but not least, I'd like to speak on stigmas. Girls speak about periods in quotes. Girls speak about periods in quotes in a sense that they're uncomfortable to speak about it, whether speaking to the next girl or speaking to a male figure. They talk about going to Japan, which is having a period, or currently stuck in traffic, or I'm going to the moon. So a person might say, I'm going to Japan, so can you give me something to land on? That is to say, I'm having my periods. Can you please lend me your pad? Gender inequality, girls are regarded as less wealthy. Men think just because we can do half of the things or much of the things that they do, then we are just not worthy to be had, not worthy to be taken. So they take us for granted. And this is why they do not take this issue of menstruation as worthy as we do. Pollution. Pollution in a sense that non-menstruating people believe that we are polluting the land. They believe that through burning sanitary towels, by throwing them in the toilets, filling up the toilets, we're just polluting the land. This is why they think that what we are going through shouldn't be happening. I would like to talk on working into the toilet with a sanitary product. This is embarrassing for most girls. It's a work of shame and instead of a work of praise. Like everybody when going, whether it's at work, whether it's at school, we all just want to put them somewhere in here so that nobody can see us. And you don't want anybody to know that you're going on a period. Then when you get there, you wait for all the people to leave the toilet, to leave the bathroom, so that you get in there and do your thing. Restricted mobility and participation. Girls are restricted from taking part in most activities like, oops, can I go on?
I agree. That things that are really like, can be said, I want to go to Japan because it's investigation and we don't. Oh wow. Thank you, Winnie. I know it's plenty. We'll post them on our social handles and let everyone see and learn more about it. Thank you so much. Thank you. Now everyone should be sending questions for Esekakos because I know like what is going to the moon. Although for us here, what we say is my grandmother has come to visit me. That means you're on your menstrual cycle. Everyone knows that particular word. Moment you say it. And again, don't forget, talk about this thing wherever with your friends, men, women, whoever, especially the men. Tell them, I am in pain, I am menstruating, cramps, I am not feeling well. Say it. So they will realize and know that, yes, this is really what is happening. And then they will be there for you whenever it is necessary. Ladies, men, please don't worry. We're coming to the questions. We have plenty. So we'll direct each question to whoever it is directed to. And the ones that are general questions, we'll leave them open. So the guest speakers that have spoken so far will answer to them. Okay? Now we have one that says, does everyone have a specific painkillers that work for their menstrual pain, or there are general painkillers that can be recommended for one in pain to use? That one I think goes for Katrusha. Yes, since you're a nurse and a midwife with past experience of being in the field for long, that one is for you. And then we have another question that's, why do they say when you are on menstruating, no one should know about it? Talk more of seeing any blood, like the case of Kenya, right? WA Cacos can answer that, I guess. And then we have, please advise girls that cannot afford tampon or a pad, what they should use for in case of they are menstruating, and then so they will not become dropouts, right? We also have another one that says, why do we have some heavy blood clots when menstruating? That one also is for Katrusha. And then why do they say you should not talk about, or say the other one is for Ms Faith or Stella can answer it. They're all from WA Cacos and they are mothers. So yes, they have girls. And we also have what advice? Here we've spoken about that. Yes, so far that is what we have here, please. Anyone can start.
Okay, the one where why do we have clothes, right?
Yes, blood clots, yeah, heavy one.
Okay, so the uterus has got 3 layers of muscles, and one muscle is known as the smooth muscle. This is the layer where it's the layer that becomes big in layman's term when a girl is undergoing the processes of the menstrual cycle. So the hormones make the area thick, the muscle thick, such that when ovulation takes place, like the opportunity to get pregnant passes, it sheds off, meaning it tears off. So that's just the muscle tearing off from the lining of the uterus that is permanent. And there is pain because the muscles are forcing, they are contracting so that the blood can come out. There are a bit of nerve endings, so there's a bit of pain. So basically they are clots because that there was something that was formed. Now that there is no pregnancy, it has to come out. So it's not really a big problem, but it's just the muscles that come out. It's known as a smooth muscle because it sheds off during menstruation. I hope that's clear.
Yes, yes, yes. The painkillers.
So for the painkillers, there is no specific painkiller. Usually you can take paracetamol, you can take Brufen, you can take diclofenac. But what I have observed is the painkillers are better taken during the PMSF, the premenstrual syndrome period, before the actual period. What happens is if you take a painkiller when the nerve endings that, cause pain are already in the blood, it doesn't work much. We're advised to take painkillers like 2 days before the actual period, so that when there is that shedding of blood, the painkiller is already in the system, and it should be taken as a complete dose, not just once off. And that can be advised by the pharmaceutical or the medical profession that you go to on the dose and what type of drugs you need to take. Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much. So next, Stella, what can you say? What do we say about menstruation? People the question says, people tell us not to talk about it or not to be seen with blood. What do we do?
Okay.
Well, nobody wants to have a blood stain on her menses, on her clothes when she's menstruating. I think sometimes it's the act of not knowing. When you don't know that you have a stain on your clothes, or when you are not aware that your menses is about to start. Most times, some people, when their menses start, they are not aware. They are not aware. Some have painless menstruation. So all they do is suddenly it comes out and they have this stain. Anyone who is close to them just needs to call their attention. It's not that it's a taboo. It is not a taboo. Even some people, when they still have the pads and they have overflow, they still can't get stained. They can still get stained. So having a blood stain on your clothes is not something anybody can just see it as a sacrilege or a taboo. No, it can happen to anybody. It can happen to any girl. It can happen to any woman. You can use heavy pads and some use normal pads. Those that have heavy flows do use a heavy pad that can absorb very well, while some use normal pads. So for instance, if you're in a place where you're not conducive to change, or you're in program as in the environment is not conducive enough for you to have a change, and your pad gets filled up and you have a stain, the next thing is anyone close to you to call your attention. It's not sacrilege, it's not a taboo, and do the needful. Seeing a blood stain on a cloth doesn't mean that you are less yourself or you don't know what to do. It can happen to any woman.
Stella.
Thank you.
All right, thank you. Ms. Faith, someone is asking, what advice do you have for girls that cannot afford a tampon or a pad? And then again, it has also another question that goes with it that says, what has happened to the traditional way of using gap pads? Like for me, that was how I started. What has happened to that since we can't afford pads? What advice and what has happened to the traditional way?
Okay. Before I even answer that one, I wanted to add to the question that says, why shouldn't we talk about period publicly? So on a personal level, if we do not talk about our periods, we are the ones that will go through neglect. We are the ones that will go through ignorance, because a closed mouth is a closed destiny. So if it is not a taboo to talk about your period, then I see no reason why you shouldn't talk about it. So on the policy level, there's no policy without a discussion. So even legislators have to bring, there has to be a topic. Somebody has to write a paper and present it and talk about it before it is passed into law. So I see no reason why people shouldn't talk about the administration. I mean, if you are with a man Why shouldn't you talk about what are you even talking about? Why shouldn't you talk about your reproductive system? What happens in your body so that the person can know you better? So that's idea of why we should not talk about is a scam. Please, nobody should believe it. We should talk. In fact, we should carry our trumpets and, shout if we have to, just talk about this thing so that people can be aware, and then it won't be such a big deal because it is a normal phenomenon of life. So what happens if you do not have sanitary towel? It's not everybody that has access to sanitary towel. That's why they are teaching people how to make reusable sanitary pads, because it's cheaper and easier, even though for places where there's high humidity, it is really not safe because it is the number one, trigger for infection. Because if the reusable sanitary towels are not dry, then the humidity, honestly, infection straight. But just like you said, our mothers used wrapper. You can tear wrapper, wash. You see, the thing is, that's why water is important during menstruation, because you just can't help but be clean. You have to wash yourself. If you don't wash yourself, you will smell. And perhaps that's why men or others who do not menstruate see menstruation as a dirty thing, because some people actually smell. So just keep yourself clean. I know someone that use cotton wool, right? That the one you use to clean your face, because it's cheaper for her. She was my maid, actually. She came to my house with cotton wool. That's what she used. So when she's on her period, she'll just fetch out of it, but she'll tie it. Make sure you tie it and cover it, because if air and dust enters, then it's also not safe for the vagina. So you can just improvise. Wash. If you can swim when you're on your period, there are times, I don't know, but I know when my body flows more. When I drink water, after water or tea, that's when I have heavy flow. So if you're poor, you don't have any means of buying sanitary towel, or you don't have wrapper, of course you have wrapper. Cut anything, just cut anything, but make sure it is clean. Improvise, but make sure it is clean, please. Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much. That was amazing, I must say. Yes, we must improvise. Make sure you iron that wrapper and then use it after you're done. Wash it, hang it under the sun, after which it's dry, iron it again. If there's no way to iron it, just make sure it has enough sunlight for the germs, and then you can use it again. That was how I started before using pads. That was how I started. So we're getting closer. Now we are coming to the call to action. We've had a lot and everything. So now we're getting call to action by Peace. So Peace is going to tell us some points, yeah, and then we will go to just ending it. So now Peace Brenda is the current president for the CND caucus. Yes, and she's my friend by love. I know her a lot. She strongly believes that there is great potential in each and every person, even the African girl child like her. So heal our world, everyone has to be on board. That is her belief. Everybody help me welcome my friend. Peace is coming to give us the call to action. Peace. Rezo.
Thank you so much, Khadija, to my friend. Yeah, thank you very much for that lovely welcome. Thank you for having me here. Thank you for the opportunity to speak. The previous speakers, you have done an amazing job. Thank you so much. My name is Nanjera Peace Brenda, and I'm Ugandan. I come from Uganda, and I'm the president of the Central, Eastern, Northern African Diaspora Caucus of TheALI. I'm going to just share, since we are short of time, I'm going to just share a few things that we can do as girls to ensure that we are still advocating and are taking action towards this menstruation thing. Hopefully you can all hear me. First of all, menstruation is a natural process that affects half of the world's population. However, despite being a common experience, menstruation is still surrounded by stigma and misinformation. We have had so much myths being shared by the several speakers. This can lead to serious health issues and social exclusion for those who menstruate. It's time for us to break the silence and take action to ensure that everyone has access to the resources and support they need to manage their periods with dignity and respect. And here are some of the ways that we can do that. We need to educate ourselves and others. We have done that very wonderfully today, and we should keep on doing that. It's a continuous process. We need to keep on educating ourselves on how we can remain clean during menstruation and take care of those that are menstruating around us. We also need to support menstrual health initiatives. We need to support organizations and initiatives that are working to improve access to menstrual products, education, and healthcare. Thirdly, we need to advocate for policy change. I've heard the amazing bios of our great speakers. We are all influencers. We have the capacity to cause change. So let us advocate for policies that promote menstrual equity, such as providing free menstrual products in schools, workplaces, and public spaces. We have the ability to do that. We also need to empower those who menstruate, encourage open conversations about menstruation, and empower those who menstruate to manage their periods with confidence and dignity. And I feel like we have done a very good job today in having an open conversation. Even when you go to class, even when you go to work, ensure that we have these open conversations. We need to normalize menstruation and the conversations around menstruation. By taking action, we can break the silence and work towards a world where menstruation is no longer a taboo topic, but rather a subject that is openly discussed and supported. Martin Luther King once said that our lives begin to end the day we become silent about things that matter. So let us not keep quiet about menstruation. Let us speak until there is a change. Thank you so much. Over to you, Khadijatu.
I told you, she's the president. I beg. Martin Luther King. Salute, ma. Respect. Thank you so much. So everybody, we are close. We are almost done. Yes, we're done with every speaker. That was it. And now we're coming to get our closing remarks. We're actually rushing because of time. Please, we'll settle later with Nurat later. For our closing remarks, we have Ms. Exilda. She's the program associate at the Amazon Leadership Initiative. She's passionate about development of young girls and women. She works with adolescents in Zambia to teach them various life skills. She's also an economist with a vast knowledge on financial literacy. Yes, she's part of the coordinators for SS CACOS. Everybody, please welcome Ms. Exilda. Ms. Exilda, you're welcome, ma'am.
Thank you so much, Khadijatu, for that warm welcome. I just want to thank everyone who joined us for this webinar. We are truly grateful as the Amazon Leadership Initiative for your participation and commitment to breaking the silence surrounding menstruation. Together, we have taken a significant step towards promoting menstrual hygiene, advocating for change, and working towards menstrual equity for all. Throughout this webinar, we have shared vast knowledge on menstrual hygiene practices, debunked myths and misconceptions through the various advocates and experts on menstrual hygiene. We just want to take this moment to assure each one and every one of you, as the Amazon Leadership Initiative, we are committed to ending period poverty, and we ensure that we support initiatives and also provide advocacy towards menstrual hygiene and also period poverty. We just want to thank you for taking your time in participating and joining us throughout this webinar. We'd like to encourage each one and every one of you to join us. If you're not yet part of the Amazon Leadership Initiative, you can follow us through our various social media pages on Instagram at the Amazon Leadership Initiative. LinkedIn at the Amazon Leadership Initiative, Twitter at TheALI.org. You can also write to us through our email at info@theali.org. Thank you so much for joining, and we look forward to working with each one and every one of you. Thank you.
Thank you so much. So everyone, as we're closing, let's put on our camera so we get screenshots, pictures. Yes, it's time for pictures. And then we have to post it. Let's put on our cameras and then we'll take pictures. Yes, the cameras, please, let's put them on so we take pictures. Mr. Go. Please, let's put on our cameras. Yes, let's put on our cameras so we take pictures. It will be very quick. It will be very quick. It will be very quick. On 1, 2, 3. Smile, we'll be sliding through. Smile. Oh, smile. Make sure you're smiling because we're sliding through. Yes. Yes, please, let's continue to smile. Put on the cameras. Let's continue to smile. Put on your cameras. CEO ma'am, let's put on our cameras. We're sliding through the pictures. Yes. Please, the cameras, please, let's take pictures. Okay. Thank you so much, everyone, for joining us. Do not forget to talk about this, talk about it. Tell everyone about it. Do not scare to talk about it. Like Ms. Faith said, let us be the leaders for our program. Thank you for being with us. Thank you for every fight. We'll continue fighting together. Till next to see you again. I've been your host, Khadija Tubari. Thank you. We love you. Bye. 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 Hi, everyone.
Well done, Kajatu. Well done. Well done, everybody.